Good morning, salutations, and hello. My name is Larry, and this is the Ethical Atheist. And today we have another segment of Brett Keane versus the Ethical Atheist. And I think that when I titled the other video, I made a mistake because I don't want the verses to imply that we're in some kind of feud or argument. I meant it in the sense of, 2 points of discussion, this idea versus that idea. And that's how I meant it. So anybody that watched that and thought, oh my god, they're going to fight each other. No, it's not like that at all. Not like that at all. I don't want it to be like that. But, so Brett sent me back another question. Just one this time. Or, well, a series of related questions to one core issue. And so the question was, and I'm probably not going to articulate it as well as he did, so as usual, links to his original video in the description below. But the crux of the question was, you have a really good friend and confidant and someone that you trust and love and adore who is a Christian. And you're on excellent terms with this person and you confide in them and it's great. And that's wonderful. And so what happens after that is that an entity appears to you and offers you money and wealth, and I think he was targeting the question to me specifically because he also mentioned like subscribers and wealth and popularity and fame, and in my case that would probably be YouTube fame. YouTube fame. Me. Anyway. And offers you all these wonderful things, and you'll never want for anything for the rest of your life, for the rest of your days, and as long as you live. And the one condition is that you have to drag your Christian friend through the mud. You have to, verbally attack them. You have to basically destroy them. And, put them up for ridicule and mockery and all kinds of stuff like that. And I had a very good idea of what I wanted to say about that before Brett had even finished talking, because I would never want to have gain at the expense of someone else's pain. I'm fine if I have to sacrifice things and I have to suffer a little bit to get to my end goals, whatever they may be. But I don't want to inflict pain deliberately on another person for something like money. And honestly, the only part of his question that gave me any pause was that he mentioned, some of the things that you can do with money, and it's just like, you can have all this stuff and everything that you've ever wanted. And me personally, I don't need a lot of stuff. I don't need a lot of shit. I have a house and food and the internet to keep me entertained, and I'm a pretty happy camper, And I don't make very much money, but if I scrimp and save all year and I count my pennies, I can usually buy myself one really nice thing once a year, or I can go on a short trip, and, that's enough for me personally, really. I don't need a whole lot to be content. But then he mentioned, well, I could pay off my mom's house, I could do this or that, I could donate to charity. And that's the only thing that really gave me pause, because if I was making millions and millions of dollars, like I could just, on a whim, I could just write a check to St. Jude for $1 million. I could just, I could pay off my mom's house. I could pay off my grandma's house. I could pay off my house. I could buy my husband the dental implants that he desperately needs. And so that's the only thing where I had to stop and think about it for a second, because that is so tempting to me. More than anything that I could buy for myself or do for myself, the prospect of, St. Jude does so much good work. And I've seen a lot of documentaries about St. Jude, and every time I put myself through the ringer every time I do, because it just breaks me in half to see people, but especially children, going through the horror show that is cancer. And if I had the ability to just write St. Jude a check for $1 million fucking dollars, you bet your ass I would. If I ever had an amount of money like that, I wouldn't even know what to do with it for myself. What, am I gonna drive a Lamborghini while kids have fucking cancer? Are you shitting me? But I'm sorry for the nasally shit that I've got going on. I'm allergic to everything. But that was the only part of the question that gave me pause, considering, charitable things that I could do with that money. But the scenario also assumes that I could never work hard enough and do enough myself to achieve those goals without hurting somebody. Like, if success and fame and wealth were my goals, I firmly believe that if I worked hard enough and I put in the blood, sweat, and tears and I reached out to enough people, I think that it wouldn't take, it wouldn't be overnight, like our deal with the devil here. It would take a long time, it would probably be painful, it would be an uphill climb, it would be fighting every step of the way. But it would be worth it to not have compromised my values. And one of my values is do no harm. And I just can't imagine even emotionally hurting someone on purpose to get what I want. Now, I understand that because of the nature of my content and the nature of who I am, that's gonna upset some people. Because, some theists have very, very strong opinions about atheism, and of course there's lots of religious doctrine saying that you shouldn't associate with atheists and yada yada yada. So I imagine that just by nature of being what I am, that's gonna upset some people. But I don't want to deliberately, walk up to somebody and go, you're a piece of shit and you're terrible and your religion's terrible and here's why. I don't want to destroy a person that way. I really don't. And I firmly believe that if I wanted to, I have the capabilities, I have the munitions, as it were, to attack people who are religious and hurt them. I do. I think it would be very, very easy for me to just do what a lot of other YouTubers do and get on here and do shrieking rants about how everything's terrible. But that's not what I want. If I do achieve any kind of success, if I do achieve any kind of influence or fame, I want it to be because I stood on principle and excuse me, because I stood on principle and I stuck to my values and I created content that is reflective of me as a person. I want it to be because I created content that resonated with people. I want it to be because people listened to my arguments and thought that they had good points. Those are the things that I would want to be famous for. And I know that that's a long shot of happening. I really do. I think that calmer, mellower, more reasoned arguing is not nearly as interesting to watch as people just shrieking back and forth at each other. But that's what I want for me, and I don't want to compromise that just for money, just for fame. I don't think that I could live with it. I don't think that I could live with it if I knew what had made me famous was just me being an asshole to someone. And I want to say right now, before, my channel goes on too much longer, I know that I am a flawed human being and that I will probably fuck up eventually. I know that it is, even according to my own ethical standards, I am not a perfect person, and I will eventually do something that even I think is wrong, for whatever reasons. Because I'm not thinking in the moment, or because I'm desperate, or whatever conditions might arise. But it would always be my goal to strive to be a good person, to continuously try to be the best me that I can be. And part of being the best me that I can be is not cheapening my ideals by valuing wealth over them. So, that's my answer to this question, Brett. My internet is being shit recently, so I don't know when this will be up. This will either be up tonight, March the 5th, or it'll be up the morning of March the 6th. So, I hope that you found my answer worthy, I guess would be the word. I don't know. But thank you very much for watching, and as always, may Darwin be with you.